Today is an historic day in crypto land, as for the first time in recorded history, we have not one, but an entire series of some of the most informed, educated, and bullish long-term friendly comments by regulators in the halls of Congress as crypto is being discussed, as looming regulations that could cripple the growth of the crypto industry in the United States are being discussed. And almost all sentiments from regulators express wild, positive optimism towards this inclusive and disruptive new technology, as we have 6 giga-chad representatives of the cryptocurrency industry go toe-to-toe and explain what's so special, important, and critical to achieve here in crypto over the coming days and weeks, especially as it pertains to looming regulations. You're definitely going to love this one as we go through the most important dunks and interactions, and of course, some of the overt trolling and worst possible comments coming out of this particular body of legislators. And all of it is leading to one powerful conclusion that crypto is not only here to stay, but we're about to enter into a brave new world of hyper adoption. Go ahead, destroy that like button because you're absolutely gonna love what we have in store for you today. Let's start off with Mr. Brian Brooks, who is the former comptroller of the currency. He was a federal regulator under the Trump administration, and he was one of the most advanced and favorable regulators to cryptocurrency in its history. Not to mention, old Brian ended up becoming the CEO of Binance US, as well as now the CEO of Bitfury. He is a massive power player in crypto and knows the inner workings of the government like no other. He came forward and testified, and there's an amazing interaction in which Ted Budd said that he feared the current policy of regulation by enforcement in the United States could, quote, force the next generation of financial tech to be created outside of the country. And speaking on behalf of Bitfury, Brian Brooks responded, "There are products that are legal in other countries that are just not legal here. One of the things that makes crypto risky is that consumers may not understand the difference between one token and another, so they may want to diversify. We don't allow that in the United States. We do allow it in Canada. We allow it in Germany. We allow it in Singapore, Portugal, and a number of other places. If you're a developer, there's no fuzzy line. It's super clear. You cannot do that here. You have to go abroad." Bud then continued to ask and said, "Do you believe that the United States is fundamentally behind other developed nations?" And Brian Brooks responded, "Unquestionably." And it was definitely a mic drop moment where the entire room felt it. And Bud went on to say, "It feels as though the regulators seem to believe that every single coin comes within their remit and effectively that they're going to ruin this industry." That was coming out of the mouths of regulators, of congressmen. This is so different than where we were just a year ago, but watch this. We have taken out some of the most important interactions here. This particular rant from Congressman Patrick McHenry was one of my favorites. Listen up.
We know that. We don't need knee-jerk reactions by lawmakers to regulate out of fear of the unknown rather than seeking to understand. And that fear of the unknown and the move to regulate before understanding will only stifle American ingenuity and put us at a competitive disadvantage. Throughout history, we've seen examples, countless harmful examples of overregulation around the world by governments. In the late 1800s, England reacted to the rise of cars with laws that required 3 people to operate vehicles at all times. 1 to drive, a 2nd to fuel up the vehicle, and a 3rd to stand in front of the car and wave a red flag. Now, Congress should not be dumb enough to raise a red flag around this technology revolution. We should embrace it, we should understand it, and we should be the international leaders in this space.
This is exactly the sentiment that we've been hoping to see echoed in Congress now for, I guess, since the beginning of cryptocurrency, which is that why are we reacting out of fear here? We should be looking at the opportunity. The people, the regulators in charge should be looking at understanding this and really trying to take advantage of it, because the fundamental goal of a regulator in the United States is to make life better for Americans. Isn't the biggest financial and technological revolution in history, in the history of the internet, isn't that a huge opportunity for the average American. I know for myself as an innovator, as a builder, as a content creator, as just a human, this has been the biggest opportunity I've ever seen in my lifetime. And so of course it was a no-brainer to jump in head first. And I've made it a life's mission to indoctrinate others into this particular industry because I know how liberating, how important it is for others to achieve financial independence and success and purpose. And I've always remained optimistic that we would start hearing things like this out of the US government. Let's hear, there's actually a lot more. As Palace would say here, he said, IMO, this is the most important exchange of the entire hearing in front of the US Congress.
And one of my concerns about crypto is that it would present a challenge to the supremacy of the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. But what I have found striking is that the leading stablecoin issuers have actually chosen to peg their stablecoins to the dollar, which strikes me as a vote of confidence that reinforces rather than challenges the status of the dollar as the world's reserve currency. So what are your thoughts on the relationship between the dollar and the crypto? Is it as contradictory as many have feared, or could it be actually complementary?
I'll answer that. I actually don't think that it's contradictory at all. What people want is a U.S. dollar bank account. Everywhere in the world, people want to be able to have U.S. dollars. And actually, that's the hardest thing to get. And crypto is a tool for a lot of different things, including bringing communities together. But what people want in order for their everyday spending, it's dollars. If you're in Argentina, you want dollars. If you're somebody anywhere in the world, you want to have access to dollars. And that's the hardest thing to get access to right now. And that's why tokenized dollars is so valuable, because you don't need to have a bank account, yet you can have access to the dollar-based system. And a very, very important tool for inclusion.
Once again, one of the biggest mic drop moments here is that the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem really functions around converting in and out of stable coins. And yeah, there is a euro stable coin and there's some other stable coins, but 99.9% of the stable coins globally in crypto are US dollar based. How is this not the biggest bull case for the dollar you've ever heard about dollarizing the entire world? In fact, it's a massive case for a CBDC as well. People want dollars and they're getting them through crypto. And this is the biggest counter, especially strategically for America against maybe a country like China, which is also trying to use cryptocurrencies to spread their own national currency. And they're way, way ahead. Thankfully, we have innovative companies that are spreading the dollar way before the United States government can get off their rear ends and do something about it. This is another huge, huge point. Everybody wants dollars, and crypto is the mechanism by which they are getting them. There is a non-zero chance that crypto could essentially make the US dollar the de facto means of exchange in every country for every transaction, bar none. But of course, there was some dissent in the crowd, and we rely on none other than California's own Brad Sherman. Old radical Brad over here makes some serious dunks on himself, completely making himself look like a buffoon. Of course, we should point out that Brad's biggest donors are credit unions and banks. Of course, this guy is a paid puppet, and we actually have an amazing movement to get him unseated, which we should all be contributing to. I'll have some information on that in just a second, but this is hilarious. Easily the funniest interaction of the day because this guy can't even get his dunks out of his mouth. But listen to this, and I'll tell you what I really think about this in just a second.
Now, the number one threat to cryptocurrency is crypto. Bitcoin could be displaced by Ether, which could be displaced by Dodge, which could be displaced by Hamster Coin. And then there's Cobra Coin. And what could Mongoose Coin do to Crypto Coin?
Sorry. Okay, sorry. Obviously, this guy makes himself look worse than anything we could do here. He can't even seem to get his words straight. And what's funny enough is I bet by the end of today, there's going to be a Cobra coin and a Mongoose coin, and I bet they're going to do crazy gains, more than your average S&P 500. So look out for those. Anyway, thanks again, Brad, for reminding us that you're up for re-election here in the coming days here. Let's see. There's another candidate running against Brad Sherman, and we got to make sure to support this new candidate. Let's voice our political preferences with our money. And if you couldn't tell, that's what's happening here, is that there is a ton of education happening here through the Blockchain Association, through Coin Center, through these political action committees that are being funded by big players like Sam Bankman-Fried Bankman-Fried and beyond. This is democracy at work. This is what happens. And finally, we have yet another Web2 company, this time Kickstarter, saying that it's moving to blockchain. Yet another example of why blockchain is superior for crowdfunding and community building. This is a pretty obvious one. Kickstarter has obviously been wildly replaced by Ethereum. Not sure we really need Kickstarter, but hey, we got a bunch of launchpads here in crypto. Why not one more? And finally, we are very, very proud to announce that Yatsu and Animoca brands have just joined Neo Tokyo by purchasing a base identity as their first step into this. Again, Neo Tokyo is designed to attract the biggest, most important players in the metaverse, building the metaverse. It is the Illuminati of the metaverse, and it's focused on crypto gaming, assembling knowledge, assembling resources and builders to create the utopia in the metaverse that we all deserve. And so Animoca being the leading brand around investing in the metaverse. And by the way, if we didn't see this, they actually just put out their third quarter earnings, and they've already made $530 million in revenue, $140 million in bookings. So almost $700 million here in revenue just this year. Animoca, they have $600 million in liquid crypto, some fiat too. And by the way, no small task, they have over $16 billion in cryptocurrency. $16 billion, including some interesting coins that you might recognize here. If you guys want to win $1,000 in ETH, go comment on Becker's post. I retweeted it. And this is just a sign that if you guys are looking for the absolute gold standard of metaverse communities, that's what Neo Tokyo's gamification was designed to do. And this is just the beginning as Neo Tokyo looks to come into the Meta tournament, which is actually sponsored and partnered with Twitch. It'll be on the front page of Twitch, officially partnered for visibility with Twitch. And there's going to be an absolutely astounding prize pool. Going to be playing a really hilarious Squid Game parody game here. Again, this is going to cross over into the mainstream, and Animoca is also sponsoring. This is just showing you the power players are getting behind Neo Tokyo in a major way. And in my opinion, the mission of Neo Tokyo is starting to crystallize here. So as we zigzag our way through the chop, one thing remains clear. The future of crypto in the United States looks very bright. Regulators are extremely excited. They are pushing for openness, for education, for information. They're not pushing for fear-mongering and stomping out the unknown. They're also pushing back against entities like the SEC regulators, which are clearly establishing a culture of overreach. It's an amazing, amazing moment we're in, and why I've always been so bullish that crypto would find a home. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And if you like this video, make sure you like this video. It's the easiest way that you can show this content to the world and tell the YouTube algorithm that, hey, I enjoyed my time here. As always, we're gonna be coming with the absolute best way to navigate this market, including the best coins to get into. Make sure you hit subscribe and put that bell notification on, because in these crazy markets, you never know when the biggest opportunities are gonna present themselves, and we're gonna be bringing them to you here first. That said, I'm EllioTrades. You can find me on Twitter at EllioTrades, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.